Honey, you sound stressed. What's wrong?
I had to stay late again. We've been prepping for this big investor meeting. I mean, we've had a great year. I just wish people outside of our little Midwestern bubble knew about it.
Well, I know you're going to do great.
Okay, Mom. I'm getting settled in for the night. Call you tomorrow?
Please get some rest, okay?
Okay. Love you.
2024 is shaping up to be complicated for the venture capital industry and startups. Our next guest says the theme to watch is going to be a surge in startups shutting down. Joining us now.
Also a major decline in VC investment.
There's very clearly a downshift happening.
The industry is going through some adjustment.
Seeing funding conditions being a lot more difficult for these companies, and growth rates are slowing as well.
Growth rates slowing? The pundits might not get it, but we know growth starts right here locally. And maybe it's Iowa nice, or maybe it's just good business.
And the market hasn't stopped us from becoming a leader in the solar industry. We're having success despite what the talking heads have to say.
And even though we're in the Midwest, we're working with the world's top health agencies and aerospace companies to change medicine.
I would say this is the best time to start a company in Iowa.
We're trying to make it clear that you do not have to be in San Francisco to build the next great tech company.
The FDA and the CDC for animal vaccines resides in Ames, Iowa.
The vast amount of people in the Iowa ecosystem are so welcoming and so willing to help.
The Iowa community as a whole has been fantastic.
Whether it's supporting a local business,
or saving a life.
Your time.
Your time.
Your time. Is now.
Is now.
Is now.
Your time is now.
Let's go. The time is indeed now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to InnoVenture Challenge 2024. Let's hear it. Come on, let's go. Time is now. Look at that video. It was great. My name is Corey McAnally, and I have the pleasure of being your MC this evening. So for those of you who don't know me, I have a few connections to the rich innovation Iowa ecosystem that we are here to celebrate this evening. I have the opportunity to help lead innovation at Principal Financial Group. I am on the Technology Commercialization Committee for the Iowa Economic Development Authority. I know some of those folks are here tonight. I heard a whistle. I'm also on the board for the Global Insurance Accelerator. I saw Dan, he'll be loud. And I am also on the Vaughn Institute at the University of Iowa. And that is what we are here to celebrate tonight. No, the ecosystem. Yeah, we're here to celebrate the ecosystem. But seriously, it is really an honor to be the MC, and working in corporate strategy and working for and with a lot of those big consulting firms. You know the kind I'm talking about, don't you? Here's what I know. I know there's 3 things I've got to do as your MC tonight. I don't know what they are. I just know that there's 3 things that I've got to do tonight. You know, I lost a lot of money with that joke. I told my friends at work that everybody was going to think that was funny, and it bailed on me. But we'll get better. All right, but truly, there's 3 things I have to do. One is be moderately funny, so check, obviously. The second one is to get you engaged, to get you excited about this evening, to get it pumped up for our founders. And let me tell you, we are here to celebrate the Iowa ecosystem, entrepreneurship, innovation, and give away a bunch of money. If you can't get excited and engaged about that, and I don't get a really high rating in my KPIs for that, check your pulse, people, all right? I can get that one done. And the third thing, for those of you who know me, this is dangerous. I have to keep us on time, which means I can't talk a lot, which means it can't go on, which means it has to be really well scripted. And here's the deal. You can't win them all, right? So I'll probably get them needs improvement by the end of the night for that one. But we'll see how it goes. So engagement is key tonight, and that is my job. And so one of the things that we're really proud about here for the InnoVenture Challenge, and if you haven't been before, you'll learn this tonight, and if you have been, this will make complete sense, is that we are really excited about getting engaged, and we give that really warm Iowa welcome when our entrepreneurs come up here later. So, given that I am the leader of that, and you are the folks that I need to lead in that regard, I need to take you for a test drive real quick. And that's where we're going to get back to that innovation ecosystem, because I want to know and I want to show that the full ecosystem is represented here tonight. And I kind of cheated because I looked at the invite list, so this shouldn't be dead on arrival. But when you think about the rich Iowa innovation ecosystem, obviously starts with our startups. But you have the government agencies and regulatory agencies. You have the corporates. I put them first because that's fun. They never get to go first, right? You have the accelerators and the venture capital and all the other subject matter experts out there. And then, of course, the founders and the startups themselves that really make that ecosystem rich and make it all work together. So, and this, spoiler alert, I need you to participate in a second. If you are here tonight and you represent corporate, government, Chance McElhaney, I know you're out there, you better stand up, thank you. If you're corporate, government, university, whether you're a student or otherwise representing a university, or venture capital, I need you to stand up and demonstrate for me how loud you're going to be when these entrepreneurs come up on stage later. So stand up, let's hear it. Come on, come on, come on. There you go. Good. All right, all right, all right. We need to double that a little bit. Too much government. But other than that, it's pretty good. All right. I have this sick feeling that you're going to be put to shame, because if you're in the startup or entrepreneur or founder community, accelerator community, or you're a subject matter expert or other supporter of innovation, you stand up now and show me how your half is going to do tonight. All right. All right. Consider yourselves test-driven. Chance. We got to work on that, the government side of that. We'll figure it out, though. So thank you. We are going to need that energy all night long, and I will be sitting right here. And if I stand up, I know Lucas over there is my mic guy. I whisper things to him, and he can hear them apparently. I will stand up and make sure that this crowd is doing that, because that is my job, and it's the one thing I can get highly rated on tonight, because we know how jokes and time are going to go. So with that, I will be back up here in just a little bit to explain to you how the evening is going to go and exactly how the sequence of the videos and the startups and the founders and when you get to stand up and exercise that muscle that we just tested. But first, before we get into that, I have the honor of introducing our keynote speaker tonight. And I don't know if any of you have exchanged emails with Paul Singh before. But he sent me a nice one this morning and said, so sorry. Forgot to email you back, Corey. Sorry, Paul. I got to throw you under the bus there. It's good. Yeah, no, it's good. And so I said, can you give me some bio notes? Can you give me some tips about what you're going to talk about so I can introduce you that way? And he's like, yeah, it's kind of a controlled riff. And I was like, so what are you going to talk about? He's like, it's a controlled riff, Corey. What are you not getting out of this? So I thought, okay, fine. If that's what you're going to give me, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn to the number one technology that we all use when we need to figure out something today, ChatGPT. So bear with me. By the way, I took a PhD in prompt engineering to get to say something about Paul. Paul Singh is a dynamic entrepreneur and technology innovator known for his significant contributions to the healthcare industry through Strata PT. As a co-founder, he has played a pivotal role in developing advanced software solutions tailored for physical therapy practices. I don't know if any of this is true, by the way. Strata PT, the first three were the wrong Paul Singh, by the way. Strata PT empowers clinics to streamline their operations, improve patient care, and enhance overall efficiency and practice management. Before his work at Strata PT, getting it to do that was really hard. Paul gained valuable experience as a co-founder at Results Junkies. I think that's true. Yeah, it's true. He says this. A company founded on helping businesses optimize their strategies and achieve measurable results. His role involved leveraging data-driven insights to enhance performance and drive growth for clients across various sectors. This experience honed his skills in analytics, business development, and client relations, which he later applied to his endeavors at Strata PT. It literally wanted to relate everything to Strata PT, so it was just very difficult. With a strong background in technology and a passion for innovation, Paul is dedicated to solving complex challenges, and his vision and leadership continue to transform the innovative landscape. I feel like ChatGPT has a crush on Paul. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Singh.
My LinkedIn or the problem is, okay, so listen, this is going to be awkward, but only I can say this. You can't say what I'm about to say to me because that would be racist. Paul Singh is like the Steve Smith of India. There's literally like 1.5 billion of me. So even ChatGPT doesn't know which one it's talking about. It's like, he's probably in tech, I don't know. Conversely, my mother texted me today. I'm 43 years old. I don't feel old, but man, she definitely, so I love her to death, but my mom texted me today, and she's like, hey, do you need me to bring anything to you and the kids tonight? And my wife Dana, who's not Indian by the name Dana, of course. So she says, do you need me to bring anything tonight? I was like, Mom, I'm in Des Moines. And she's like, ugh. So she responds via text. And I'm like standing on a street corner, cold as shit. And she says, ugh, I wish you'd get a real job. So-and-so's friend just got a promotion at Lockheed. He wears a tie and drives a BMW. And I was like, well, fuck that guy. Anyway, I like the chat GPT version of Paul. Let's go with that. Maybe my mom will think less, maybe more of me. I don't know. She is really great, by the way, but totally hates entrepreneurship. I don't think she gets it. By the way, heckling's allowed. I can't see you, but you can heckle. And if you're like passive aggressive or weird, you can make fun of me online, and then I'll find out afterwards. So we'll see where this goes. By the way, I really can't see you. So if you got a question or you want to heckle, just yell it out and we'll figure it out. I only got like 15 minutes of your time today. Real quick, I live in Virginia. I got 4 kids. My wife is wonderful. And I'm probably the luckiest bastard in Iowa right now, I feel like. Because 25 years ago, if you time traveled back, I was a bricklayer. I spent my weekends building patios. My dad was a mason. We were immigrants, and that's what we did. We traded time for money. We traded things for money. That's just how most of our careers were back then. I won't bore you with my story, but I will just, my plan for the next few minutes is I'm going to tell you a little bit about my background, and then I'm going to try to tell you some things that might be obvious, the things I've learned over the last 25 years. I've invested in about 3,200 companies now personally. And then I'm going to get a little awkward, and I'm going to kind of not try to make Kaylee regret inviting me. And then I'm going to try to tie it all together, put a little bow on it, and then get out of here before one of you guys hits me. So we'll see. But high level, I've spent the last 25 years being an operator and an investor. I've lived on both sides of the table. So I've started businesses, I run them, I extract the cash flow, I use it to start other things. So my first business was in data centers, which today I guess is pretty cool, but in 1995 my mom was like, that's for porn and drugs. And I was like, yeah, well, that's 20% of the business, but the other 80% is 3-letter agencies, and so it works out. But I built a bunch of data centers, 6 million square feet of internet space in Virginia. If you've ever flown into Dulles Airport, you've flown over my data centers. I went on from there. I spent some time at the White House in the Office of Science, Tech, and Policy. Government sucks, by the way. That's a lot of work. That's why they wouldn't let me back in, I guess. But I went from there and I started in angel investing. So about 17 years ago, I started writing checks. My super secret strategy, okay, this is going to piss off all the MBAs in the room. Here's the secret. Look at as many deals as you can per week. Invest in the least worst of them. That's what you do, and you just do that. And so, you're laughing. I do this 200 times a year. So results junkies, which, by the way, I'm not a naming guy. I'm better at a bar fight, I think, and spelling bees. But so you're laughing nervously, by the way. That's weird. By the way, Ravi here, I just met tonight, owns the Hotel Fort Des Moines or whatever, and I was like, my man, the Fiji is $9, but 6 feet away, the regular water's $3. Like, you kind of are leaving money on the table. It's like the worst Indian entrepreneur I've ever met. Like, holy cow. And then I said, hey, I listed my room number on Craigslist and told him there was a party last night, and then he got real nervous. And I was like, okay, all right. Anyway, just to fast forward a little bit, I'm never getting invited back. I'm so sorry, Kaylee, wherever you are. So sorry. So then I started angel investing, writing checks. In all seriousness, I didn't know what all these people in Silicon Valley do. My little town in Virginia, when we immigrated, 8,000 people, dairy farm. I was a bricklayer. So I started into angel investing. Some of the companies you might know, we were the first money into companies like Twilio, SendGrid, Credit Karma, Mint.com, Wildfire, Viki. The one thing they all have in common is they didn't start in Silicon Valley. And I would argue that most successful companies on the planet don't start in Silicon Valley. So I did that for a couple of years. 500 Global, I co-founded that in I guess in mid-2010. That's sort of the institutional version of what we do. We manage about $5 billion of other people's money and our own investing. Went on, started a women's health company. Ironic, I know, weird, but anyway, learned about the insurance industry, did whatever ChatGPT said. That was weird. And then, oddly enough, so invested in 56 countries now. I'm sorry that's a little blurry. I'm not very good at a lot of things, including slides, but invested in a lot. Then I bought an RV. That really pissed off my mom. Don't get me started. My wife was like, what the hell, you did what? And so that's how my connection to Iowa started. I bought an RV because I had my first kid, and I was like, honey, I don't want to leave you and my daughter, but at the same time, I kind of like being everywhere else. And so we started driving 7 laps of the U.S. I landed in Iowa probably 7 years ago because a guy named Jeff Wood was dumb enough to respond to my email. I don't think he's here tonight, but Jeff, and then met Eric Engelman, and then Danny Laudick, and over the years invested in companies even here in Iowa, like OpenLoop, years ago. Today, great company, but by the way, John, anybody know John? That dude is intense, isn't he? Like, I feel bad when I call him. I'm like, hey, John, what's up? And he's like, this isn't worth my time. I'm like, God damn, okay. So I did not email him on this trip here, by the way. But I drove around, and now let me get to the point. There's a couple things I learned along the way. The first is that ambition really is equally distributed around the world. Whether I was in Taos, New Mexico, or Portland, Maine, or Cody, Wyoming, or Bangalore, India, the reality is that everybody wants something more, whether it's for their family, their kids, themselves, whatever it is. It was just all over the world. It was just amazing to see. The next thing was it was easier to start a business than ever. When I started my first business in 1996, I think it was, in order for you to collect by the way, real quick, whoever the timing guy is, it still says 20 minutes, so joke's on you, I'm going. So don't cut me short, whoever you are. But look, in all honesty, or all candor, I guess, when I started my first business, it was hard. I remember having to take the title of my crappy old Toyota 4Runner to a local bank for the privilege of that black credit card swipey thing. You remember that thing? Okay, you guys are all young. All right, screw you. Yeah, today everybody's like, yeah, I got a Stripe account. I can take your money and get it in my bank account tomorrow. But way back 20 years ago, 25 years ago, you had this black credit card swipey thing. I really think $50 today is the equivalent of $5 million 25 years ago. You need to have rich friends back then. I didn't have that. You had to have a title for a $4,000 4Runner. It's never been easier to start a business wherever you are on the planet, but it has gotten harder. It's a lot harder because it used to be that you would compete with somebody down the street. You could look the competitor in the eye in most industries. Today you can't. You don't know whether your competitor has 70 people in Brazil or 70 people in Urbandale. You have no idea. And by the way, this trend, this is a different talk for a different time. This trend, when we think about AI and LLMs and things like that, it's only going to get crazier. I was talking to somebody the other day, and we were talking about hybrid work. And today, the definition of hybrid work is in office versus out of office, right? But when we think about AI agents and stuff like that over the next couple of years, it's going to kind of look different because it's like you're going to have this many carbon-based life forms working on the company, and you're going to have probably 100x more AI agents working for the company. And that's going to be a really interesting trend. But it's becoming harder to grow a business. Maybe controversial, I don't know, we'll see where this goes. The next thing is cash is easier to get than ever. Easier with an asterisk, because I didn't want to get pummeled here, I don't know. But look, I think it's not easy, but it is easier to get because the cost of starting a company has come down significantly. But the unfortunate, unfashionable thing to say is that money is rarely the gating item. It's really fashionable to say, gosh, there's not a lot of venture capital in Iowa. There's not a lot of venture capital here or there. This is the same conversation that happens everywhere on the planet. But it's gotten easier. And that's not the point of this talk, but I want to set this up because now when we get to, now we're going to start to get into some of the fun stuff. It's the functional skills. I've been all over the world now. It's the functional skills that are unevenly distributed. We still tell people to create a lean startup canvas. I'm going to get in trouble for that, I guess. But that might have worked 10 years ago. But today, you probably should make 200 phone calls to people you don't know. Don't take, so anyway, let me come to this in a minute. The other thing is that startup programs are now the modern day business school. And this is really neat to see. All joking aside, when I came here 7 years ago, and I mean this with all the respect to you and everybody else around the world, 7 years ago you probably couldn't get 20 people in a room like this. And I think it's a real testament to not only Iowa to have 400 some people in here, but also it's sort of the new reality. I think there's a lot more interest in this, and I think when I look at what Kaylee and the team are doing, this really is the modern day business school for entrepreneurship. Now, by the way, I'm pretty sure there's some sponsors that are university people. I'm so sorry, it's my fault. I didn't actually let Kaylee or anybody see the deck. So if you're going to ding anybody, ding me. But here's the thing. I think broadly, there's two categories of companies. There's companies that take more than $1 million to get started, and then everything else. And I think that MBAs are still important. It's not about important or not important. It's just that when you're dealing with businesses or industries where there's a lot of capital at play, a lot of risk at play, you do probably want somebody with an MBA to kind of be involved. But for everything else, for early stage startups and things like that, it's really about just brute force. And I think that, you know, when I think about like startup, it's like the startup MBA. That's what these programs, when we think about like even this, the InnoVenture Challenge and all that stuff, it's really, this is like the MBA or the startup MBA for this industry. But this is where it's going to get a little awkward, you know? I don't even know why you're laughing. Are you laughing at that? The jokes were better, guys. Come on. You guys suck. Well, that's funny. Okay. All right, well, let's make it weird. Okay. I grew up not speaking English. I grew up speaking Punjabi. English is my second language. I learned it a lot from the A-Team, actually, which, you know that story, the 1980s A-Team? All right, okay. One old guy over here, I love it. Oh, no, that was Corey. Oh, well, Corey's like my hype guy. I don't know if he has a crush on me or ChatGPT, but my wife is going to have a word with you. So here's the thing. So when we think about the world, you know, in our investment thesis, the world's not divided by 200 political boundaries. It's divided by five major cultures that are defined by language. So we think about the broad, I'm going to piss, I don't think there's any Brazilians in the room, so that'd be weird, maybe. But broadly, it's English, Mandarin, Spanish, Arabic, and Hindi. And what's interesting about this is that English is the only muddy language. Muddy, like, you know, mud. Because like in every other language, we have specific words for things. Like we don't say uncle and aunt. We say there's a specific word for the mom's older brother versus the mom's younger brother, right? But here in the US, in the English-speaking world, we are starting to use the words entrepreneurship and innovation interchangeably. And one of the awkward things I want to say to set up the rest of this talk is that we should stop doing that. Because both, okay, all right. I didn't even get to it, I'm done. And the clock hasn't even started, by the way. You guys are so screwed. So here's the thing. Innovation is important. You want to go to Mars, you got to build a new engine that restarts in space. You want to, I don't know, pick anything hard. You're going to have to innovate. You're going to have to create something new. But the process of selling it and taking it to market is entrepreneurship. And when we kind of interchangeably use these words, we don't honor that. And what we actually accidentally do is we then further companies failing because we let them innovate forever and we don't actually have the hard conversation about sales and all that. So where I'm going with this is entrepreneurship is a verb. Now, before any of the linguist nerds say anything to me here, here's the point. English is the only language on the planet where entrepreneur is a noun. We are the only society, by the way, I'm an American citizen, I got a passport, don't do anything crazy, okay? Yeah, I died in Iowa. My wife would be so pissed at y'all. She'd be like, you left me with 4 kids? Actually, I've slept really good today, last night, it was so good. Your hotel's okay. Just okay, by the way. And if you raise the price of the water, I'll be so pissed, Ravi. So anyway, entrepreneurship is a verb. And I think in most cultures, most every other culture, if you were to go look it up, the closest word is a verb. Like, for example, in Hindi, we don't have a word for entrepreneur. We say jugad, which is like, he's got the hustle. It's the closest literal translation, but it's a verb. And this will make sense in a minute. The next thing is that entrepreneurship is a skill. And what I mean by that is that it's difficult to teach. You know, I can show you case studies all day, but the thing that you'll never, you know, feel from a PDF document is the constraint, the fear of failure, those things that, like, you know, really bring out the best of entrepreneurial thinking. But it's a skill. It's something like you can learn and something you can perfect over time. We as a society kind of make it about founders and not founders. When the truth is you can be an entrepreneurial thinker whether you're in a cubicle in an accounting firm just as much as if you're, you know, the founder of a company. But it's a skill. The The next awkward thing is like we glorify grit. Right? We're like, oh man, we glorify grit. We're like, oh, you've been working on that for 7 months? It's so cool. But like, here's the thing. Imagine, just for a minute, that, you turn on an NFL game and the announcer said, all right, listen, these idiots are going to run around until they're done running around. You'd be like, what the hell? No, we have constraints. We say 4 quarters, 15 minutes, there's the rules, right? Don't cheat, get it done. There is a winner at the end. And instead, when it comes to startups, we're like, stick with it. Like that. That's what you do, right? Is that? I don't even know why you're laughing at some of this stuff. My wife's going to be like, what in the world? When it comes to business, business is really a series of games. It's not the Olympics. You don't get extra credit for doing a really hard gymnastics routine. In the Olympics you do, but in startups you don't. With business, there are a lot of dumb people making a lot of fucking money. Oh, F-bombs are off limits? Okay. I'm so sorry, you guys. So you are awake. Okay, cool. I don't even know if you left. I can't see shit. They turned this brighter because when Corey's up, he can see everybody, right? All right, but here's the thing. It really is a series of games. Like, hey, that latest salesperson you hired isn't working out. That's a game we got to solve. We got to win this game because we can't just tell them to screw off. We got to find the next person and then make some sort of smooth transition, right? We got to go raise money. That's a game. We got to go into this thinking we're going to go have 500 conversations to find the one yes, right? It's not about working hard. This one, I don't feel like I'm going to get 1 minute now? Come on. That escalated so quick. Where's the people's choice of word on that? Okay, I'm moving forward. Kaylee's going to murder me. Distribution's more important than the product, okay? So look, product's important. Obviously, you can't just sell like smoke, right? But at the same time, once you've got something that's working, everything should be about distribution. Pop quiz. When companies fail, why do they fail? I know it sounds like a joke and it's sarcastic, but just try real quick. Running out of money. Okay. All right. So I'm not a doctor, but I can pretend to be one to make my mom happy, and my therapist thinks that's stupid. But here's the thing. If my knee hurts, any doctors here? Okay, so if my knee hurts, if I walk in and my knee's blown up and the bone's sticking out, you're like, yeah, you got a problem there, right? But more than likely, I'm like, yeah, my knee hurts. What does a doctor say? Well, let me see you walk. Because the problem is something else. That's what's visible. The symptom is something else, right? And so, believe it or not, the data suggests that running out of money is not the actual. That's the result of what actually happened upstream. What happened upstream is that we as humans, as a species, we gravitate towards what's easiest for us. So if you're a developer, when something's not going right and you're not getting sales, what's the first thing that you do? You say, well, it's got to be because I didn't build that feature. I'm going to build that feature. And just for the sake of time, I'm just going to fast forward it. 9 times out of 10, it's because you're not making 200 calls a day. The last maybe controversial thing is that it's okay to talk about money. We are far too romantic in the startup world. And by the way, again, remember, this is not about Iowa. This is everywhere. We make it about grit. We make it about hustle and determination and all these other things. And the unfortunate byproduct of that is we're not encouraging our founders to be unromantic about business. And so the thing is let's talk about money. Let's talk about how much they're growing per day, And for the founders and the entrepreneurs in the room, I guess what I would just say is moving rarely helps. I always meet people, and again, not an Iowa thing, it's an everywhere thing. They're like, oh, it sucks here, It's look, man, if you can't build a business in Des Moines, Iowa, fucking moving to Sioux Falls or San Francisco is not going to help you, So just stay put. Just stay put. That was a compliment. Jeez, come on. Not even an economic developer would laugh at that? Okay. All right, so now hopefully, the clock's still at 1 minute, by the way. This is the longest. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do, by the way. Sorry, Kaylee. Never getting invited back, you guys. I'm so sorry. Hey, all right. Drinks for that guy. Don't make it weird though, okay? Because now I got to crush over here and there, and my wife's like, what the hell? All right, so let me just tie it all together. I promise that we're at the end now. So entrepreneurship, the verb, entrepreneurship, the skill, that is the fundamental driver of growth in Iowa. And for the investors in the room, entrepreneurship, that version of entrepreneurship that I'm trying to inarticulately describe to you is the fundamental driver of growth. I have never met an investor that said, oh my gosh, that patent is why I return 10x on my money every 2 days. No, nobody has ever in the world said that. Maybe except for like OpenAI, I guess. But the point is, though, is that like it's about entrepreneurship. Results and growth and financial returns happen despite investors, not because of us. And now for the community, it is the driver of growth. I can bore you to death in a different talk some other time, but research over the last 50 years has shown that the economic prosperity of almost every geography on the planet can be defined or directly correlated to the number of new businesses that are attempted in that area. It's a different talk. We'll talk about it later. And then you tie it all together. If you want Iowa to be better, if you want your town to be better, if you want life to be better for your kids, you want to make more money, entrepreneurship, the verb, is the thing that's going to help you. And so my challenge to you is, look, there's like 400 people in this room. And I want to respect the fact that, this is one of the only places in the country that I've ever seen where you guys celebrate entrepreneurs. You do the cheering and all that. And I honor that. I really do. All joking aside, I love that because you don't see that anywhere else in the country. But I would challenge you that if you're truly here to help startups, that one of the things you should be doing, not just tonight, but for the next 30 days, the next year, is bringing leads to them, talking about them to potential customers, help them succeed because the odds are already stacked against them. And so that's maybe the main idea I would fundamentally leave you with, is that I think it's so amazing that 7 or 8 years ago when I came here for the first time, I don't think there was anything that had 400 people in it, respectfully, right? But this is a testament to like what's happened over the last couple of years, and Kaylee and her team and all the other ecosystem partners have done a great job. But when you leave here, please don't stop celebrating startups. You talk about it every time you can. You talk about it every time you meet somebody, and you tie them back to somebody else in Iowa that's building something. And if you do that, the end result will be that your home will be a better place. So that's all I got. I don't know exactly how many minutes I went. It still says 1 minute, so I'm not sure what to do. So Corey, this is going to get weird. Let's make it happen. Thank you. Thank you.
Well done, well done. Hey, Paul, a round of applause. Thank you. You're definitely coming back. And now I have 3 minutes, which with given the math tonight, I don't know exactly how long that goes. So appreciate that. And in my notes at this point, I have say something intelligent and repeat it from Paul's speech. And so I don't know. No. But in all seriousness, first of all, the theme of tonight is the time is now, and Paul's given us a challenge, and I think he's right. The time is now for that. But one of the things that as he was going through his speech, and he apologized to the universities in the room about the startup, schools being the new MBA or entrepreneur accelerators, things like that. I thought, nobody in this room, the Iowa that I know, is going to be offended by that statement, because as I look out across our innovation ecosystem, we want to know where the puck is headed, because Iowa skates where the puck is headed from an innovation perspective, whether it's our regulators and our government bodies making sure that we get funding and the right environment to fuel that innovation, whether it's the capital coming in from private parties, the corporate entities who are partnering with these folks, the startups, the people, the founders themselves here. We are going to innovate in that space. So if anybody found that to be offensive, that's not part of the Iowa ecosystem I know, and I bet everybody in the room loved that, heard that, and is accepting that challenge, because the time is now. So with that, we're going to talk a little bit about how the rest of the night's going to go. And so in a minute, we are going to go through this cadence 3 times. You will see a video. Then one of our wonderful sponsors, because this ain't free, will come up here. And by the way, they're not just, these sponsors are wonderful, because talking about our innovation ecosystem, these are sponsors who are here tonight, but really they're doing the work. They're doing the work outside this room to help this ecosystem be successful, to help these founders succeed, to help Iowa grow in the way that we know it can. So you're going to see a video. One of our sponsors will come up and make an introduction, and then you will That's miserable. something like that. Yeah, hopefully better. Chance. And then we're going to have our judges here, and they are going to get 5 minutes of pitch and then 5 minutes of Q&A. Video, sponsor, you, pitch, Q&A. We're going to do that 3 times in a row. Now pay attention. I'll come back up and explain the details of this, but for all of you with your devices, we are going to, after that is done, have an intermission, and I will tell you how during that intermission you are going to select the People's Choice Award, while our judges will ultimately select the final winner this evening. So pay attention to those pitches. Next, and I've been waiting so long to do this, and it was going to happen at any event where this sequence happened, and he has no idea. He's sitting over there. I literally not told him this. You think I have a crush on you, Paul? My next introduction, I didn't ask him for his bio at all, is this. You guys have heard of the Chris debate, right? Chris Pine, Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth. The debate is over if you live in Iowa, because the only Chris who wins any of that is our very own Chris Konetsky, president and group of Business Record Corporation, is coming up to speak next and make the next introduction. So give it up for Chris, the real Chris.
Got the same body build, I think, as each of those Chris's. So thank you for that. And can we get a round of applause for the best moderately funny MC in Des Moines? Can we give one for, thank you. Well, as Corey said, I'm with Business Publications Corporation. We produce the Business Record and Innovation Iowa magazine. Our job is to help raise the profile of the innovation ecosystem. Our magazine and our e-newsletter, we do that each and every week. Sarah Dean, our editor for Business Record, and she also writes for Innovation e-newsletter as well. Sarah, give a big wave up at the front. Thank you. The goal of innovation when it started was to help raise the profile of the great work that all of you are doing here in this community to help connect the dots between the parts of the ecosystem. That's what we're doing. That's our goal. That's our mission. And we've got 3 ways that I think we can help you with that, and we're always trying to do this. If you have story ideas, Sarah is the person to go to. She's always looking for the great and interesting stories that we can help share and amplify to help connect you in that way. If you want to stay connected into it, sign up. I think there's a QR code. Maybe that'll go on the screen, maybe not. You can do so at innovationiowa.com. Sign up for the e-newsletter because you can meet new people, you can learn about new businesses, you can learn about the things that are going on. And lastly, Paul talked about it, leads. If you're a business, you're at a time where you're trying to get your services in front of folks that need your products, reach out our way as well because we can help with that as well too. Our job is to help businesses do business better. That's what we're here for. These events are the types of things we like to help support so that we can help amplify the community. And I know we've got some great judges here that I'm going to help introduce tonight because they're going to be the ones that are going to be helping give a nice prize to a startup tonight. So our 3 judges tonight, Clayton Nevins is the new venture lead at Pivot Bio and an investment committee member for the InnoVenture Iowa Fund. Let's give him a round of applause. Sharice Flynn is the Chief Operating Officer and co-founder of the Hummingbirds, a startup that was featured as one of the top 3 finalists at the very first InnoVenture Challenge in 2022, and recently announced the close of their $5.4 million Series A round of funding. And of course, Paul, who is our keynote speaker. I'm not going to try to give another bio from AI there at all. So please join me in welcoming all 3 of our judges and give them a big round of applause. All right, now I believe we have a video from our first Prairie sponsor, which is a university, Paul. So nicely done. Here, we'll play that.
Remember, it's my fault, not Kaylee's.
My name's David Spalding. I am the Vice President for Economic Development and Industry Relations at Iowa State University. I also serve as the Dean of the Debbie and Jerry Ivy College of Business. So Iowa State University, we are the land-grant university in the state of Iowa, and so our mission really is focused on 3 areas. One is a practical and accessible education for our students. The second is research, and particularly focused on applied research. And then thirdly is being engaged and involved in the economic well-being of people all across the 99 counties of the state of Iowa. There are great programs, for example, that we run, our Startup Factory program, our go-to-market program, both designed for discoveries that have been commercialized and have the potential to be the basis for a company. And so providing that business knowledge to the research scientists who are often involved in those discoveries. So the Papa John's Center at Iowa State University, for example, 2 years ago, we were named the #1 entrepreneurship center on the globe by the Global Consortium of Entrepreneurship Centers, which is a group of 240 entrepreneurship centers around the world. So having that kind of quality available to support our entrepreneurs is just something that hasn't been available in the past. So it's a very exciting time to be an entrepreneur in the state of Iowa.
All right, well, good evening, everyone. You heard one version of my introduction. Let me also introduce myself as the old guy who likes the A-team. Thank you, Paul. There's nothing like it when a plan comes together. So look, it's great to be here. What a wonderful event. What a great opportunity to celebrate entrepreneurship here in the great state of Iowa. It's been an honor to be a part of this community for the 11 years that I've been here, and really to lead an outstanding group of people, an outstanding group of professionals at Iowa State University who engage in this activity in all 99 counties across our state. We're very committed to helping entrepreneurs, not just here in the major population centers, but also getting involved with entrepreneurs all across our state. You know, I mentioned there in the video that 2 years ago, the Global Consortium of Entrepreneurship Centers, 240 entrepreneurship centers from around the globe, named the Papa John's Center at Iowa State University the #1 entrepreneurship center on the globe. Can you imagine? Ames, Iowa. It's happening in Ames, Iowa. The year before, USASB, which is the top organization of academics in the entrepreneurship field, named us the model program, which is their top award. Nobody had ever won those awards in back-to-back years, 2021, 2022. Again, the Papa John's Center in Little Ames, Iowa, knocking it out of the park with that kind of recognition for the great work that we do every day. And then when I talk about work around the state, our Small Business Development Center for the state of Iowa is headquartered in Ames at Iowa State University. But we run a program called the Rural Business Initiative, which is designed to work with scalable businesses all across our state and rural communities and help them achieve their goals to grow. So I will say there was a suggestion by somebody next to me that perhaps I'd be offended by the MBA comment. I'll say that I've got about 100 students in my MBA program. We have over 9,000 students a year on the Iowa State campus who are taking advantage of our entrepreneurship programs. So we are very focused on making this work. So it's now my great honor to introduce the first finalist for the evening, Billy Otzmas, founder and CEO of Repaint Studios. So let's welcome Billy.
Well, good evening, Des Moines. Good evening, judges. My name is Billy Otzmas. I am the CEO and founder of Repaint Studios, and I'm so excited to be pitching on the live stage tonight. But unfortunately, I need to start with some bad news. Did you know that there is roughly 240 million plastic paint-tray liners going into landfills every single year, just from the average homeowner? Think of that 2 to 3 times more from a DIYer or painting contractor. Well, a few years ago, I had a small business where I was refinishing and restoring furniture, and I was painting pretty much every single day, and I was getting real sick of going back and forth to the store to get more of those plastic liners because my paint kept drying out. And if you've ever done a painting project, you know what I'm talking about. With a plastic bag or saran wrap or foil, nothing was cutting it. And I really started to worry about my environmental impact. So I searched for a reusable option, and nothing showed up. So that's when I had the idea for the Repaint Tray. The Repaint Tray is the first reusable and recyclable paint tray liner and lid, and completely eliminates the need for those plastic liners ever again. It comes with a heavy-duty metal tray, the reusable silicone liner, and the airtight lid. And an airtight lid is guaranteed to keep your paint fresh for up to 21 days. All you do is you pour your paint your project, and when you're finished, you let the paint dry, easily peel it away, rinse, and repeat. We're an industry disruptor. We are able to not only help you save time in your overall supply cost, but now you have the convenience with the airtight lid because you can paint when you want to and you can clean up now when you want to. And you can feel good about your purchase knowing that you're helping prevent those 240 million liners from entering the landfill. There is nothing remotely like the repaint tray on the market today. We're an innovative and refreshing product in an industry where consumers are demanding change. And we are meeting that consumer demand. Over 92% of people said that they would pay more for sustainable and recyclable DIY products. And 71% said that they would pay more for higher quality and durable products. And we are meeting that demand. Our target market is millennial DIYers and homeowners, and they're doing a lot of the updates to their homes themselves. So it's no wonder that the market is a $160 billion market and it's projected to grow an additional 6% by the year 2030. And that's just in the United States. We already have plans to expand globally next year. We officially launched on February 1st of this year, and we are so close to reaching almost $500,000 in revenue. And within, thank you. And within 4 months of launching, we sold out of our first run of inventory. And as you can see with our cost breakdown, that leaves us with roughly a 50 to 60% gross profit margin between our repaint trays and the liner lids that we offer. So much has happened in the last year since we launched. I've been able to be featured on the National Weather Channel, get celebrity endorsements from HGTV to Magnolia Network. I was just named Gear of the Year by Popular Mechanics alongside brands like Yeti and DeWalt and Milwaukee. Thank you. And then, just a couple weeks ago, Disney called us, and their set production crew placed a bulk order for our repaint trays. But wait, there's more. Last year, I had the opportunity to pitch to Lowe's, and I pitched at their global pitch competition, ended up walking away with the highest purchase order for the paint department, resulting in the repaint trays being in over 416 stores nationwide, and they just launched in Lowe's last week. But wait, there's more. Home Depot caught wind, and they wanted a piece of the pie, and so we will be launching online with them by the end of this year. None of this would be possible without an amazing team behind me. Combined, we have over 30 years of experience in manufacturing and product development, as well as finance, marketing, and customer support, and I am so grateful for the people on this page and the local businesses that have helped me come so far. So what does the future look like? Well, we get nonstop requests for new products all the time, and we have the privilege to be able to work with Marlon here. He's a greenhouse gas reduction engineer from Harvard, and he is making sure that our products and our business are sustainable throughout. We're also working on creating these silicone paint can liners to go in the billions of paint cans throughout the world to be able to help reduce our additional waste. So why now? Well, painting has held the #1 rank in home improvement since the 80s, yet nothing has changed as far as the tools that we use. It's time for a change. This $100,000 grand prize would significantly impact not only Repaint Studios, but the environment, so we can invest in creating those new products and those paint can liners like I just showed you. That would include prototypes, that would include the tools, that would also include inventory. My end goal is to build a sustainable and profitable business here in the state of Iowa to give back to those communities like you guys that have helped me come so far. So I'm asking you judges for that $100,000 grand prize to not only help make this more of a reality for Repaint, but for the environment and the communities as a whole. Consumers are demanding change in an industry that my competitors are not listening to, but I am. So it's time that we paint a brighter and greener future. Thank you.
Drop the mic. I'm curious if you could talk a little bit about the plans on the current product and the 100K for the current product versus using the 100K for new product development. And is the new product development a new shiny thing, or is it really important to your overall business growth to bring that to life in the next year?
The $100,000 would specifically go towards developing those new products that I had just showed. This would definitely go towards the prototyping and the molds that we need. The molds are definitely the most expensive part. Just for me to create the repaint tray by itself cost me about $35,000 just for the tools, and then another $65,000 for the inventory. But because I'm already established, I am able to bring down that cost a little bit more with the current manufacturing, and also because the materials that we're going to be using for these larger trays and smaller trays are going to be in the plastic realm instead of the heavy-duty metal realm, to bring down the weight of it and also some of the cost. And the liner for the paint cans, yes, it would be manufactured, but this would be more so a licensed out type product with the manufacturers and paint companies. Thank you. Yeah.
Billy, you can talk to me like a second grader. So how have you funded it to this point?
I've sold a lot of stuff on Facebook Marketplace.
Really? So it's all bootstrapped?
Well, I've gotten a lot of help from my in-laws and my parents. They have helped me. I've sold stuff on Facebook Marketplace. I took out a small business loan. Yeah, I took out my retirement fund.
Okay, well, don't talk to any of these other investors, but we should probably talk later. But by the way, incredible. That is incredible.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry. One more question.
Yes.
I am the guy that is the last in line to talk about patents. But just out of curiosity, like, can you protect this?
I tried. I tried for several years. That was the first thing that I pursued. There was one other patent that was out there that was filed in like 2006. It went abandoned, and I couldn't claim it because it was just a little bit too similar. But I talked with like 4 different patent attorneys to see what I can do, and they all said the same thing. I have my trademark. They said, be bright, be bold, get first to the market.
Yeah.
And we always compare it to Yeti, not only for the sake of the paint tray and how heavy duty it is, but everybody knocks off Yeti. But yet people will still buy them for the name and the brand.
The brand, yeah. That's great. That's great.
What about for the paint can liners and your vision for the 5 or 10 years? Is that defensible?
Sorry.
Are you able to get IP on those kind of things?
We're working on that right now.
That's awesome.
Yes. I did bring a sample, so you can peel the paint if you want. It's really fun.
For the new products, have you already talked to Lowe's and Home Depot? Are those SKUs that they would add, or is that a whole new sales process?
Yeah, they're already interested in adding that. Like I said, we just launched with Lowe's, and they're doing the repaint tray set. So that comes with the heavy-duty metal tray, the liner lids. With the display that we launched with them, there's space to be able to add just the liner lids, so that way people can swap them in and out with the metal tray. So we'll definitely do that. Home Depot is really interested in the smaller ones and the commercial size because I think they apply more to the commercial end. But either way, it's a huge DIY market, so we're going to reach both of them across the board.
Have you been able to do any kind of like life cycle analysis to understand the environmental impact of the liner or this from creation to end of life compared to the industry standards?
Yes. So Marlon, who I mentioned, he's a greenhouse gas reduction engineer from Harvard. He found me on TikTok, actually. He loved my product. He bought it, and he thought it was awesome. And so he reached out to me and said, can I work with you? And I was like, yes. So he has the ability to run those types of simulations to see, is this truly going to be a sustainable product? What can we do to make any changes if necessary? And so he's able to run these simulations and look at it all the way from the very beginning at manufacturing to the end of its potential life cycle. I mean, these things are guaranteed to last a lifetime, but if something were to happen or whatever, he can look at that full life cycle, and he has been able to prove over and over again that this is truly a sustainable product and can last the test of time.
We have 24 seconds left. What are you most excited about in 2025?
Expanding globally. I have European partners that I'm talking with right now in the UK, and there's another potential partner in the European market as well, and they're both fighting for an exclusive, and it's really fun to watch. So I can't wait to be global. Thank you.
EDC is a not-for-profit organization specifically focused on the creation and growth of high-impact Iowa-founded business. We offer a very unique hands-on process that integrates our own personnel with those of our clients. In 21 years, we have assisted over 1,500 Iowa businesses, helping them build strong, sustainable businesses.
Worked with EDC for quite a few years. I want to say, I don't remember the exact year, but probably 2006, 2007 timeframe, something like that. They helped us do a marketing campaign, helped us figure out what our brand statement's going to be. They called our clients, for example, and started to understand how do other people interpret and see collective data, getting our marketing top-notch, finding key talent to help grow this company as we are in a middle of a growth spurt and really on the verge of some high scale.
Just last week, I had a discussion with him where I said, wow, I said, you have really evolved, right, as a leader instead of a founder. Founders have to develop into leaders in order to scale a business. He has come a long way in the time that I've worked with him.
EDC has provided a lot of direction and coaching, turning the company from a scrappy startup feel to a mature, well-respected company that provides high-end services.
You know, when Jason and I started working together, neither of us had gray hair. And probably near and dear to Paul, let me start by saying this. You know, 50 years ago, I graduated from the business school at the University of Iowa, and I was fortunate enough right at the end. I was fortunate enough right at the end of my last business classes to have a professor, actually a visiting one, turn me on to a revelation that I've carried from that point, and that is that business is a sport. It's a sport that you're allowed to play to win, and you're allowed to play to have fun. And if you're not having fun and you're not winning, change the game. I spent the next 20 years of my life building companies for other people. And in my 40s, with a co-founder, we built one for ourselves and for all of the employees, up to 200 people that we built, right? And in around 50 years old, I had a great exit, and I had this opportunity now to decide, well, what was I going to do next with my time? Because I could keep going forward and start another and grow another, but I didn't. I got challenged by the Chamber of Commerce locally to say, is there something you can do to be helping entrepreneurs? And what I realized in that process was I was going to get to play a lot of games all at the same time, right? So everybody says, are you retired? And I said, well, I am retired, so this is what I do for sport. So I founded the Entrepreneurial Development Center, and like a lot of people who found and work on entrepreneurs, they think that you have 30 years, 3 decades of experience and success, and if you can just pass that on, you'll help them create businesses faster, and you'll help more businesses succeed. Except that what I found out, right, when I started was that advice is rarely actually implemented. And so if I was going to move the needle and I was going to help really create success, I had to build a different model. So I built the model where our team engages with our entrepreneurs team, and we work as one team over extended periods of time to create success. Now that model in and of itself has been extremely successful. In the 21 years we've now been doing this, we've worked with over 1,500 companies, as I said on the video. And those companies, in turn, have generated over $5 billion of impact in Iowa. And so that impact is revenue growth, that impact is payroll growth, that impact is capital investment. Now, one of the cool things about what we do, and one of the reasons I keep doing it, is because you just keep learning. I mean, every business you get involved in, well, this is a new industry. What can I learn about that? This is exciting, that's exciting. And sometimes it's not as exciting, And over a decade ago, we started getting involved in the K-12 marketplace, right? And business area. And we learned some exciting things and some not exciting things, and some real challenges in our K-12 system. So it's with that I'm going to introduce to you a person who has spent the last 15 years in the educational space and is now the co-founder and the CEO of Narrate AR. Narrate provides a product that is specifically tailored to some of the hardest and most challenging K-12 students. Please welcome to the stage, Kari Hain Whitmer.
Not just for my mic. Okay, it is working. Hello, everyone, and it's such a pleasure to be here with you tonight. Thank you for coming, and thank you, InnoVenture, for having us. My name is Dr. Kari Hain-Whitmer, and I am a CEO and co-founder of Narrate AR, and our mission is to close the academic achievement gap for kids who learn differently. When my son started school, he loved to learn. He taught himself to read when he was only 2 years old, but because of his autism, he has significant issues with language, especially verbal language. Eventually, as time passed, he started telling me that he didn't think he was smart enough to go to school. And so I went to the school to see what was going on, and what I witnessed was my child sitting alone during group work time. And I recognized that our problem was likely an issue of disability accommodation. So today, the issues in special education can be broken down or summarized into 3 words: fear, need, and love. Fear. Up to 76% of adults with a disability are outside of the workforce. Need. 83% of teachers feel unprepared to teach children with learning differences. Love. Parents and states pour substantial resources into special education. Unfortunately, it seems like those traditional approaches aren't working. So this is my son, Ethan, and from his perspective, the educational experience is confusing because the skills that he learns and works on in special education and therapy are not reiterated or translated into the general education experience in his general ed classroom. But we all know that consistency is the key to children gaining new skills. So we developed a technology that unifies the educational experience, synthesizing information across classrooms, providing consistency, practice, and most of all, automated disability accommodations, no matter where that child is. And the best part of it is that it works for any child regardless of their learning differences. Our solution is called AMA AI. AMA has 3 components. First, we train an individual AI model for each child using information about their disability accommodations and achievement. Next, a teacher can upload any lesson into the system, and the system will expertly differentiate that lesson for the individual as well as for the disability. Finally, the system deploys that lesson to the student with the appropriate accommodations using science-backed strategies that we know help people learn.
I think it's time for reading. Are you ready, Ethan?
No.
We are going to read about something really cool today. It is about how bridges are built.
No, I want to work on my Roblox character. Take a look.
Whoa, that's so cool. Your avatar looks ready for action? Bridges might not sound exciting right now, but what if I told you this reading is about a Roblox obby made of tricky bridges? Try reading this.
Imagine a Roblox obby. Players must cross a series of bridges to reach the treasure.
Parents love AMA because it provides affordable and consistent supports that increase independence and confidence. Schools love AMA because it saves teachers time by individualizing pre-existing curricula as well as boosting student achievement. Our initial sales focus is the special education market before expanding into general education and the parent market. Only a 6% regional market penetration results in a 6.7 million ARR. That's only 600 site implementations. With early financial supports from New Schools Venture Fund, we launched our MVP just a few weeks ago. And we've acquired over 250 beta users. We're on track for a pre-seed raise this winter. We're currently selling through monthly subscriptions to individuals as well as special site pricing for schools. Believe it or not, there are currently no comprehensive software platforms on the market currently for special education. While some products have pieces of the puzzle, only ALMA addresses all the major learning strategies. Our team includes experts in neuroscience, assistive technology development, and education, as well as disability. With help from our partners, we're ready to transform the future of education for kids with disabilities. If awarded, the funds from this competition will allow us to onboard 1,500 students with disabilities in our great state of Iowa. Woo! Combined with our pre-seed raise, this will help us refine our product as well as demonstrate its scalability. At Narrate AR, AI is accessibility. Thank you so much, everyone, for having us. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm welcoming to the stage my husband, Chris Wimmer, my co-founder, and Ethan's dad, to help me answer questions.
I'm curious, with the current educational cuts, how have you approached the sales conversations with public education, and what budget do you think that $12K monthly or $12K annually would come out of, knowing that a lot of schools are being cut back on budgets?
Yes, so our approach has been to target special education students. There's about, in every classroom, there's about 5 IEP students. And so we're targeting them first. Our initial sales to those students, can be accomplished at the school level, right? They can make a purchasing decision right there for a handful of small students on a subscription basis, just our standard pricing model. When we moved to 12,000 site pricing, that'd come out of specific funds for special education. It's Title IX, I think. But that would be those kinds of funds specifically. There's a pot of money just for buying tech that's supposed to assist special needs students.
Thank you.
So, if I hate that I'm going to ask the question, but this is not a trick question. So, if you were to fast forward a year, based on what you know today, right, and you reserve the right to change your mind later on, but if you had to guess, at that point a year from now, knowing what you know today, which side of the business is generating more revenue? Is it the direct-to-parent model at $40 a month, you think, or is it essentially the B2B model? Direct to, if you had to guess, again, total guess.
I think the early one to take off, and then maybe the first 6 to 8 months, will be the parent side.
Right.
And I think that the long run, that'll get outpaced by the B2B side.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you see as the largest threat that would impact that growth, or what would prevent one of the large players from trying to replicate what you've developed?
So this, I was like kind of explain this, but this is AMA, right? A large player, you're talking about an OpenAI, you're talking about maybe Khan Academy who delivers things. When they're delivering these sort of AI chatbots for education, they're content-based, right? They're delivering a content-based AI solution, right? What we're doing is we're not training it on content. We're training it to the child. We're training on the child's interactions, the information from the child's IEP. That data is very hard to replicate. Once you have that user, there's capture. So the difficulty is all of these things make an AMA, right? That she got on the screen right here. The part of it that's a competitor would be just the part that's not highlighted, the educational subject models, right? We have all of this other stuff in there that comes from a lot of different places. Secret sauce, if you will, algorithm, machine learning, computer vision type stuff. So.
Can you talk a little bit about the timeline? How long have you been building the company, and how long did it take to create that robust technology?
How long we've been doing it? Well, how long we've been doing it? Like, since we've had Ethan, we've been building stuff forever, right? So we didn't have a company that had more than a customer. One, though, for about a year.
Yeah,
right?
about a year.
About a year. We formed the company, I think, in May of last year.
We received funding from New Schools Venture Fund in November. So that was $150,000 non-dilutive funding. And with that, we started developing the product with interns from Iowa State University, as well as ourselves spending a lot of time on the product. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a pretty tech-heavy team, founding team. So
Some of them are here. Thank you, wherever you are.
You can totally take a pass on this question, and we can talk about it offline if necessary. But in terms of the infrastructure, is it, do you guys run the compute yourself, or are you building it on top of something like OpenAI or some other third party? And again, I don't want you to give away your secret sauce, but the underlying compute, where is that happening?
So the answer is every one of these bubbles amounts to some amount of compute, right?
Right.
Some of it's foundational models that we're fine-tuning the last layer on. Some of it's open source CV type stuff,
Okay.
right? We're using some services from Google for like voice and things like that. And then there's a lot of like custom machine learning code that decides when we update models, what emotional sentiment is. That stuff is happening, not obviously at our site, but like it's on our servers.
Okay. Good enough. The, is there a timer?
Yeah, it's over, but.
Oh, now it works. Okay, got it.
Story of my life.
That's right. All right, well, good job.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. We love you, Iowa.
I'm CUNY. I'm the Executive Director of Iowa JPEC and the Managing Director of Hawkeye Ventures. Iowa JPEC is the entrepreneurial center at the University of Iowa, and our mission here is to take young minds, the next generation of entrepreneurial leaders, and help them achieve their dreams and help them come up with the next innovative company that's going to change the world. JPEC supports innovation because we know how critical it is in the world that we live in now. Things are changing faster than ever, and we want to help find those next young, bright minds that are going to come up with solutions to the problems of tomorrow, not yesterday. It's an exciting time to be an entrepreneur in Iowa and everywhere. There's a lot of new things coming out between AI, automation, and being able to find those people who are coming up with those really cool ideas and can address some of the needs that are going to be coming in the next 10, 15, 20 years is really exciting. Stepping into the role, it's really exciting for me to come full circle from a student at JPEC, startup coming out of JPEC, to serving on their board, to now leading as the new executive director. Again, the world's changing so fast now, and so how do we go ahead and take what we've learned and what we've done in the past and then modernize that and innovate going forward so we're prepared and our students are prepared for the world ahead.
All right. I think it says it's on. There it goes. Hey, everybody. I'm Adam. Great seeing everybody here. It's been a while. Again, I'm the executive director at the University of Iowa, as well as the managing director of the newly launched Hawkeye Venture Fund, which is a startup fund that's going to be aimed at helping early stage startups raise capital that have any sort of affiliation with Iowa. So we're very excited to get this up and running. We're excited to see what we can put out of JPEC. And my message tonight, I'm gonna keep it pretty quick, but really want to spend time thinking about the people in this room, having come through this community over the last 15 years as a student, as again having my own company, and now coming full circle with this. I really think there's a big opportunity in Iowa, having been through all of it, of taking that next step. And what I mean by that is we've done such a great job of getting these companies started, as you've seen tonight and you'll continue to see, but how do we get them to that next step? Because I think that's going to be critical for this community. And I know, again, half of you in this room have met with me, have listened to me, drone on about who knows what with all those different things that a startup needs. But that played a big role in my development, my company's development. But I think that's going to be even more important going forward, is saying, how do we get them beyond that seed round, beyond that Series A, to get them to the next open loop and things like that. So my thing tonight is just asking everybody here, we'd love to get involved. We'd love to get plugged in, whether you're with the state, whether you're with IEDA, InnoVenture, even Iowa State, I promise will be nice. Even though it's rivalry week, go Hawks. But anyways, I want to keep the focus tonight on our startups here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over now to Dr. Balaji Narasimhan, co-founder and president of Immuno Nanomed Inc.
Imagine it's 2030 and flu season has just arrived. You're concerned about your elderly mother who lives alone in rural Iowa with limited mobility. To get vaccinated, she needs to travel 30 minutes to get to the nearest clinic. What if there's a better solution? A simple vaccine that can be delivered to her home directly. No appointments, no needles. Just a simple inhaled vaccine that you can administer to yourself and to your loved ones. That is Immuno Nanomed's vision for a healthier tomorrow. So how do we get there? We start by understanding today's problems. Healthcare costs due to respiratory infections is unacceptably high. This is in spite of vaccines that exist today, which have a number of limitations. Immunity wanes when you take today's vaccines quickly. They don't work very well against variants, right? Which means the people who need the vaccine the most don't benefit. To top it all, these vaccines need to be stored cold. Refrigeration could cost up to 80% of the total cost of a vaccine and leads to 10 to 20% wastage. Our disruptive technology is going to solve these problems. How? By inventing an inhalable dry powder delivery platform without needles that can be used not just to deliver one vaccine, but many vaccines and also medicines. Our preclinical data indicates that the immunity induced by this vaccine is in your lungs, and it stays for a long period of time and can work against variants. Best of all, in our preclinical data, all the way up to non-human primates, this vaccine was 100% safe with no adverse effects. And to top it all, this vaccine is shelf-stable at room temperature, which means no refrigeration, no wastage. Billions of vaccines are stored cold every year, and they lose ability to work. Our potential customers like Sanofi or GSK or Seqirus could lose enough vaccine doses due to cold storage wastage that could immunize the states of Iowa and Minnesota combined. If they had our technology, the wastage would be zero. So with our platform technology, our first product is a flu vaccine, and here's a comparison of how our vaccine would work comparing to existing vaccines. And you can see that we outperform existing vaccines in every category. A preliminary analysis and a very conservative analysis of the cost of our vaccine is $5 per dose. And this number will go down significantly as we scale up. But look at that cold chain cost. It is zero for our technology, right? Which makes our vaccine very cost effective. Today's vaccines are sold at $20 to $30 per dose. So you can imagine the type of profit margin that our vaccine would have in comparison to the competitors. So why flu? Flu vaccines are a big market, $18 billion by 2030 globally, growing at a high rate. So we think in the short term that our technology could have at least a 10% market share, which would grow with time. And because of the ease of use of our vaccine, it would also grow the global flu market. All these advances are possible because of an amazing Cy-Hawk team. Go Cyclones, go Hawkeyes, which has more than 150 years of combined experience in dry powder technology as well as immunology. We also have CRO partners and device manufacturers. Our technology is covered by multiple patents. For the formulation of the vaccine, we've invented a new scalable process to manufacture the vaccine, and then a combination product of a device plus our vaccine. We've made a lot of good progress over time. We've made the vaccine, we've tested it, and here's a vial of vaccine that we've made using one of the instruments that's shown up there. This powder that's present in this vial can vaccinate half the people in this room. We have a multifaceted revenue model. So we have animal health customers who are interested in taking the polymer that this powder is made of for implants and for drug delivery applications. We also have licensure of patents and partnerships with investors and small businesses. This revenue model will help us fund more expensive human clinical trials with a multi-stage process. In stage 1, which is where the InnoVenture funds would come in, we will strengthen our bench with business development and regulatory consultant experience in order to scale up the vaccine and move it forward to stage 2, where we would work with a pharmaceutical partner to move this vaccine through the FDA into clinical trials. We would take advantage of our partners' expertise in advanced human trials as well as their distribution networks. So in the short term, our technology can improve resistance against flu, create high-skilled jobs right here in Iowa, and make it a hub, and increase user adoption. In the long term, we can lower that healthcare burden, make the vaccine accessible to older adults and other populations that need this vaccine, and expand the global accessibility and equity of this vaccine. It's a vaccines for all technology. So this is our game changer, needle-free vaccines that can be room temperature stable, protect at-risk populations, and be delivered to your home. Speaking of home delivery, here's the vaccine being delivered by drone to my home. So this is the vaccine that came to my home yesterday in windy conditions. Right? So here's the vaccine, and you'll see that it's very, very easy to use. So Dallas, hit the lights. I hope you were able to see that powder. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. So as I like to say, our game-changing technology is not just going to move the needle on vaccines, it's going to remove the needle. Thank you.
Am I supposed to call you Doc? What do I call you?
Just call me Balaji.
Balaji? Okay. First of all, that video, it screams The Office, and just on that, you win. It's like, I love it, your video production. Just keep your day job. Okay, so I don't know the first thing about FDA approvals, but just all joking aside, so aside from the $100,000, what does it ballpark? What does it take to get through that stage? Are we talking in terms of order of magnitude? Is it $1 million to get to FDA approval? 10 more? What just ballpark? What does it look like?
Yep. It's in the 10 to 20 million ballpark.
Okay. All right.
And the FDA actually has, COVID has taught us a lot of lessons. One of the important lessons is that the FDA worked with Pfizer and Moderna to help develop the vaccine, which is great. They normally don't do that. And that's opened an opportunity for companies like ours to get information from them and help us move faster towards a phase 1 clinical trial.
And I want to be respectful to the other judges. One other maybe thing I just want to clarify, just as a second grader here, is you talked about the veterinary aspects.
Mm-hmm.
Just to be clear, there is no FDA requirement for that.
But there is an FDA and a CDC for animal vaccines, which actually are both in Ames, Iowa.
Got it. Okay.
So yes, there is a regulatory process, but it's driven by USDA, not FDA.
I see. So it's probably not the same level of.
That's correct.
Okay, got it. Good stuff.
Would you ever pick doing animal health first because it's faster, cheaper, go to market? I'm curious how you think about split focus because they're probably very different paths.
Mm-hmm. Great question. So that is why it's part of our revenue model. So we have a triangulated set of assets with companies like ours, with the research universities, and like I said, the FDA and the CDC for animal vaccines right here in Ames, Iowa. So it's a great opportunity for us to move our vaccine into animal health, which will hopefully lower the FDA's temperature by the time they get our vaccine for human health.
And just a follow-up question, how long would that process normally take?
Yeah, so we've already tested our vaccines in animal models like pigs, cattle, so we've kind of already done the clinical trials, if you will, for that. And so identifying commercial partners, which we have already talked to, who are in place, is the next step towards getting those vaccines into herds, into the farm, if you will.
So if you fast forward a few years,
Mm-hmm.
do you feel like, is this technology something that has to stop at viruses, or are there other like chronic diseases or other things that you could treat with the same delivery mechanisms?
Yep, thank you for the question. Yep, this is a platform technology. So you can use it not just to deliver one vaccine, but you can deliver 3 vaccines at a time, right? You can also use this to deliver small molecule drugs. You can use this inhaler in terms of a DoD application where you can give it to a warfighter who is carrying a backpack, and the weight of that backpack is very important. I just showed you this is barely any weight. So you can give this to a warfighter so that they can get immunity if they're hit during some kind of theater, and that'll get them to the hospital. So there's applications in the defense realm, there's applications in the drug delivery realm, there's applications, as previously asked, in the animal health realm. It's a platform technology which is great in terms of de-risking as well.
Have you been able to start working on any of those partnerships or like an advisory board with pharma or taking those next steps?
You bet. We're talking to Sanofi next week, as an example. So big pharma is definitely very interested in the kinds of technologies that we have. Our vaccines provide immunity in the lungs, which is very, very important. If this room is our lung, right, and you wanted to protect this room, you don't put the cavalry at the Des Moines airport, right? You put the cavalry at the door. That's what our vaccine does. It provides immunity in the lungs rather than immunity in your muscle and eventually getting to your lungs. That's why companies like Sanofi are interested in this technology to move the next generation of vaccines.
How have you funded the development to date?
Yeah, so I'm a professor at Iowa State. That is my day job. So I don't do videos, Paul. I do want to eventually become a movie director. So, you know. So
Bollywood's calling.
So cinematography is not going to be my forte. I do direct stage plays, though.
Yes.
So going back to the question, which is about the funding. So we've been very successful thanks to support from federal agencies, which have funded partnerships. So like our partners include CROs that I mentioned and device companies. So we've submitted joint grants to the federal agencies that have been very helpful in moving this technology forward to where it's been. And that's been a big part of the funding that we've received so far, which has really brought this technology to where it is today.
I just want to say congratulations on making me feel like if we don't pick you, half the world dies. So I don't know what I got roped into here, but
not half.
God, you are a blood-sucking capitalist. I love it.
Well, thanks, everyone.
All right. Let's give it up one more time for all those entrepreneurs that we've seen this evening. Come on. Come on. How great. Yeah, stand up. Come on. Stand up. Get up. Stretch your legs. Wow. Wow. Well done. Well done. Well done. I know some are over here and in the back of the room. Well done. And the beauty of it is that what you've seen here tonight is reflective of that bigger ecosystem. This is just a slice into that pie, and a very, very impressive slice. And I don't know if you're sitting where I'm sitting, but this is going to be hard, right? So good luck. I am going to excuse our judges right now so that they can get to the safe room without being tackled or otherwise somehow influenced, I guess. Yeah, there's no safety for you, Paul. Good luck. But as they say with the theme tonight, the time for you is now. We're going to take a 20-minute break, but this is where you're going to participate. So if you have your smartphone or an Apple, gosh, sorry. But if your device, there will be QR codes posted here on the sides. You also have one on the back of your badge if you picked up your badge. And and this was fun because I went over to see who didn't pick up their badge. I was going to do the thing where somebody wasn't here, and the badges are sitting over there. I was like, let's @ this person and tweet them and LinkedIn them. And they're just like, what's going on? Why am I blowing up? But I actually found somebody that I know is here. Casey Vogel is here, but she didn't pick up her badge. So she's either going to have to scan the QR code or get it here. So scan the QR code. You get one vote, people. Election integrity around here is super serious. So one vote. And you are going to vote for the People's Choice Award tonight. So do this over your break. We're going to have entertainment from our band. I have, from Kaylee and team, there are additional drink tickets, and they wanted me to tell you about that. And they had them all over on that table. So sorry this half the room, but I got you because I stole some and put some over here. Please grab one extra drink ticket if you can. I guess the room and the people in the front get an advantage, but at least you're not that disadvantaged. So grab a drink ticket, make your vote. We're going to reconvene back here in 20 minutes after you mingle. to award the People's Choice Award and then ultimately get our judges' feedback on the award. So thank you, everybody. Enjoy the break.
What's up? Hi. Wow, what an incredible show. I have a lot of people to thank, and I just want to hear it out. How many of you were at the very first OG InnoVenture Challenge in 2022? How far we've come, and that's because of all of you. We're here to celebrate these remarkable founders, but we would not be here if it weren't for every single person in this room. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for all of you. And as many of you know, once a year, I get to put on my sales hat and I get to become operator startup Kaylee again. And I get to pitch a product, essentially, an experience. And that is tonight. That is this event. And I love sales. I've never, my background is in selling software. So this was, when I first started the challenge, it was something new where I got to sell an idea, sell a vision of what not only the ecosystem could become, but what we are and what makes us special. And that very first year, we had 3 sponsors who stepped up, took a chance on InnoVenture Iowa, and this crazy idea of a $100,000 pitch competition, winner-take-all competition. And I want to give props to Ann Price in the room. This was her idea. So you can call her the founder of the InnoVenture Challenge. And this year, we have a lot more sponsors to thank. And I do want to start with our sponsors because they all got sold to by me, and they were all very gracious about it. And how many events can bring together the University of Iowa and Iowa State University? Same room. That's right. So thank you to our institutions for supporting this event. And they do that, we do that because we share a vision, we share a mission. We all believe in the power of entrepreneurs to change our economy, to move our economy forward, and to help Iowa grow. I also want to thank Kurt Nelson and the team at EDC. Thank you. Of course, I would be remiss if I didn't thank Nymester Good. We're about to do the People's Choice Award. That wouldn't have happened if they weren't willing to write the check for the $10,000 award. It's incredible. This year we had a number of what we call Goldfinch sponsors, and I thought that was clever because Goldfinch is our state bird. We have Denton's, Davis Brown, Google's in the room, Brown Winnick, and Delta Dental. All of these sponsors came back from last year, so thank you for coming back. Thank you. We did something new this year. I sat down with the team and I said, what if we created a new sponsorship package and we called it the Buyers Club, kind of tongue-in-cheek. And we went out to venture capital funds and organizations that want to support entrepreneurs, and we sold them this event before the big event. We called it the Elite Founders Showcase. If you're a top 10 founder, can I ask you to stand and be recognized tonight? Yeah, you guys, congratulations. This is a tough competition, and they did so great. Last night was awesome, and I want to thank the buyers who were in the room, who paid for the privilege to hear those pitches. Ag Ventures Alliance, the Iowa Venture Capital Association, Blue Frog Marketing, HDR, Meredith Dash, Traction Capital. We had Manchester Story actually sponsor the event itself. Idea Fund, UHY, the Greater Des Moines Partnership, Plains Angels, and Innovate 120. Let's give it up for our buyers in the house tonight. Thank you. I have a few more people to thank. If you were a first round judge, can I ask you to stand up and be recognized? There are 20 of you. Yes. Yes. This is so hard. We asked these first round judges to spend probably 20 hours going through, they each do 20 startup applications, so that every founder that applies is reviewed by 2 judges, and then we take the average of those 2 scores to narrow down our top 10 and ultimately our top 3. So those judges volunteer their time. It takes a lot of time, and they care, they're thoughtful. They leave notes, they give feedback, and then we deliver that back to the founders. I want to thank Kate Lyon, who was our second round interview celebrity judge, who came in. I don't know if she could make it tonight, but she was incredible. And then, of course, I want to thank our finalist judges, who had a really, really tough decision to make tonight. So a round of applause for our finalist judges and Kate Lyon. Okay. I have one more group to thank. And guys, if you would, hit the slide for me. This is not the picture that they would have wanted me to choose. The team. This is the team. It is the privilege of my career to get to work with these individuals. Micah Walker, Heather Thomas, Carson Jansen, our fellow this semester, Safia Lee Evans, who I'm sure you all have heard from at one point or another, and Amy Nevins, our new hire, our event planner for tonight and going forward into 2025. Thank you to the InnoVenture Iowa team. All right. So, the moment you've all been waiting for, it is now my pleasure to introduce Jason Giles from Nyemaster Good to award the $10,000 People's Choice pick.
Hasn't this been fun? Yeah? I was amazed looking at those sponsor videos. When Kaylee sold us on being a sponsor, continuing a sponsorship, she said I could have a video or I got to hold up a big check. I chose the big check, so I hope it's coming, right? Kind of makes me feel like being a 10-year-old watching the A-Team, something like that, right? So I was running a little late, so I pulled off the printer, the script that my marketing director put together for me, and I looked at it, and word of advice for him when I get back is, let's use ChatGPT. If it could make Paul sound the way Paul sounded, it's got to be able to do something for a law firm. But at Nyemaster, we're thrilled to be a part of this night. We're thrilled that we've been able to work with InnoVenture Iowa and BioConnect and their team in putting together the fund and working throughout the process in all the investments. Every day, Nyemaster attorneys are working with innovators and entrepreneurs, different folks, founders and startups and investors, right? Here in Iowa and across the Midwest and nationally. And as we see here tonight, the Iowa entrepreneur ecosystem is in great shape, right? And we saw that tonight with the presentations of these finalists. Can we give them another round of applause? I was absolutely blown away by their presentations, and if you want evidence that things are happening in Iowa, tonight was an event to be at to see and watch those three finalists. You know, as B.A. Baracus would say, I pity the fool that had to choose between those three, right? But this award comes down to who you, the audience, with your head, with your heart, with all your passion, who you were excited the most about. You have made this event what it is. From standing up and cheering, raising your hands, raising your voices, listening to the pitches, and then having the opportunity to vote here tonight. Thank you for that. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your vote. So without further ado, I get my big check. And the 2024 Nyemaster People's Choice Award goes to ImmunoNanoMed.
Yeah, there we go. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Chris. Well, let's do one more round. Like, everybody wins because of the things that these entrepreneurs are bringing to life, whether it's the sustainability of our planet, whether it's the accessibility of learning for our future children, or whether it's preventing half the world from, I don't know, your math is funny. Call the investor. But really we're up here, and actually I'm gonna need a mic, and that was my fault for not grabbing one, so if somebody could help me out with that, thank you, Jason, appreciate it. We are going to hear from the judges who are going to give us, we're gonna hear from Paul, proxy for the judges,
I drew the short straw.
to give the full winner after your deep
Shree's is the
deliberation.
smartest one in the room here. She's like, yeah, that's not me. You know? Am I supposed
Take
to
it
go
away,
there?
yes, sir.
All right. I got to start with a bad joke. You know, the hardest thing about being an investor is not saying no. I mean, like, you're not going to last very long as an investor if you just say yes to everything, right? That was a joke. The hard part about it being an investor is, yes! I'm buying that guy a drink. Here's the thing, and I'm going to say this as a joke, but I mean this with all the sincerity of the world. You know, if you worked at a Starbucks and you screwed up 9 out of 10 coffee orders, you probably wouldn't make it to the first, break of the day. If you worked at a gas station and you screwed something up, for most blue-collar jobs, the majority of the jobs in this country, if you screwed it up more than you got it right, you wouldn't make it. And one of the most difficult parts, people always ask me, like, what the most difficult part is, and I ask them first, like, what do you think? And they say, well, it's hard to say no. And I'm like, no. The weirdest part, 25 years into this line of business, is that I get 9 out of 10 deals wrong, and yet you guys still showed up to listen to this. I said no to Uber and Airbnb in the same week, and now I'm judging something in Iowa. So there's a compliment in there somewhere, figure it out. All right, so here's the deal. This was all Sharice's idea. Clayton tried to talk me out of it. I tried to put my name on the check. They frowned on it, and anyway, so here's the thing. These 3 companies that came up actually they weren't the only 3 companies that applied. And I won't steal from Kaylee and anybody else's thunder, but the reality is these people went through a gauntlet to get here. And, whether they win or not is irrelevant. The fact is they are the top 3 companies throughout this entire challenge. And I just want to respect that, and I hope we all respect that. But with that in mind, okay. Woo! You guys are so unpredictable, by the way. I got one guy over here that likes me. I don't even know where you are, but hopefully you're cool. I'm over here trying to get the cheap water from Ravi. By the way, it's $3.50 to get water downstairs, or $3 in your room by the door, or $9 if you walk to the other side of the room. Somebody get that guy into the challenge, because he needs to go to business school. All right, anyway, for $100,000 tonight, we thought about it, we walked through it. Clayton decided. Anyway, all joking aside, you guys are all awesome. The winner of tonight's $100,000 challenge is Repaint. Woo!
Yes, I know you're trying to hold the check. There you go. Congratulations. Well done. Well done. All right, let's give it up for Repaint again and all of our entrepreneurs. Get up out of your seat, Iowa. All right, good. Well, congratulations to all of our pitches. Congratulations to the Iowa ecosystem. Thank you, Paul, for being here. Thank you, judges, for your time, the judges who have been throughout this entire process. Thank all of you for being a part of this, a continued part of the evolution of the Iowa ecosystem. As the movie said at the beginning, the time is now. Take Paul's challenge, continue to evolve this ecosystem, but first, go to the after party. And here's what the rules are for the after party. If you got the shuttle over here, you need to go get the shuttle back. I don't know exactly when it stops working, but just have a light sense of urgency about getting to the shuttle. I'll take a few people later if there are any stragglers. The after party tonight is going to be over at the New Northwestern, which for most of you know is really proximate in the same building as the GIA, and that's going to be sponsored by P3 and Uplift. So round of applause for P3 and Uplift for sponsoring that tonight. So thank you again for being here, to all the sponsors, to the InnoVenture team, to our contestants, to our winners. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful evening, Iowa Innovation Ecosystem.